Choo choo.
And the first thing anybody hears when the steam activates is two people going choo choo.
That's
So
the steam.
I went woo woo, not choo choo. Thank you.
I'd like to point. Yeah, tonight's episode is powered by steam.
Well, given by the amount of smoke coming out of our consoles, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
Yeah,
if it's steam,
what
it'd be
People
worse.
can't see at the moment, so...
Yeah, what happened? What did we do?
You'll
Fine
have your
shenanigans.
summary in just a moment, I assure you.
Vibus decided instead of the inefficient plasma and warp power system, he
Are we on the start?
solid fuel.
It's not even the start of a new episode, is it?
We
No.
are on technically part 2 of a 3-parter episode. Technically.
Oh, three-parter. Is this the season finale then? Oh no.
Not quite, no.
But you always end the season on a three-parter. It's very rare that you do a three-parter or a two-parter.
I know, which makes you wonder what I've got planned for the end of this,
It's the musical.
this season. Dang it, he's rumbled me. No, where am I? No, I decided that I liked the 3-part adventure from Keyhole of Eternity book enough that I wanted to fit it into the season that we had going on with the Klingon War, so it made sense to me to insert it here. So without any we'll get onto a more detailed discussion of that in just a moment, after we play that wonderful video that Gareth put together for us. So here comes the intro. And there we have it. Hello, folks. And before anybody wonders what we're talking about, here it is, the evidence. You leave the chief engineer, you let the chief engineer go for one week, and the DM, and the GM go for 1 week. What happens? You come back to a ship smoking and sparking.
It was the tribbles. Thousands of them.
Andrews, you know how much you hate it when someone just scratches the shuttlecraft? Well, I got good news. The shuttlecraft are in perfect condition.
Awesome.
Live long and prosper to you as well, suitable substrate. Welcome to the stream. Let's kick things off for a moment, shall we? As we, yes, I believe an explanation is in order.
Explanation for the
Look
explosion.
at my ship!
Wait a minute, so I'm being linked something. The Tomed incident.
Yeah, that's pre-stream ramblings.
Ah.
For anyone
But
else,
the,
who,
yeah, the Romulan War, wasn't it?
we were muttering about why the Federation doesn't have cloaking devices, and it's all because we lost the Romulan War. Apparently, we all forgot about this bit. And we all got it
Forgetting
wrong, so-
the losing it, yeah.
No. Yeah.
It's interesting, actually, how you think about it, that we naturally assumed the Federation won, because they always win.
When double check the facts while the intro was running, apparently they did, but it was kind of a Pyrrhic victory if things been horribly wrong, and then no one saw a Romulan until Spock said hello.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Yes, yes. All very
Okay.
interesting. So, yes. You all wake up to find...
To my ship.
You all wake up to find the bridge in a bit of a mess, along with most of the rest of the ship. So, yes, an explanation is definitely in order. So, last time we came together... Sorry, yes, Webby?
I'm just going to say, the top left-hand explosion has got the black mark around it for me.
Oh yeah, that's just popped in now.
The others are fine, it's just that one.
It's gonna
Oh, I see. Hello, standing next to the burning console as well. I see what you did. Hello.
Hang on. You said it was by there. That's weird. So it's just a big black square to you guys by here, is it?
I can
With
see
the
the explosion
explosion.
going off, but it's black in the middle.
I mean, that's
black
something
around the
like-
edges.
I'm just refreshing it.
Looks fine to me.
Yeah, it's
No,
weird
I'll
how it's
refresh them.
sometimes played for some and not for others.
Oh, it did play originally.
Yep.
It's popped out.
Forge cookie's probably timed out.
There we
we'll
go,
refresh
that's
it
better.
now.
It's just the fact that it's almost like a GIF. You know, it's just a series of frames all played one after the other, but there can sometimes be a time delay, almost a bit of lag between when it stops and starts again, and it's usually like a flashing black square when it does. Recent updates to Forge and Foundry and that have seemed to have reduced that momentary lag to almost nothing, but still pops up every now and again, so yeah, usually a bit of a refresh could sort it. So hopefully folks are seeing the bridge in all of its destroyed glory. So yes, let's get back to that explanation, shall I? If all of you folks cast your minds back, you might remember that the crew of the Navis were ordered to have some shore leave. Since the whole thing with the war against the Klingons had started making people lose sleep and get a bit stressed, and so it was deemed that for medical leave was needed. So the crew was sent to a planetary system called Hefner Bay, which happened to have a planet of the same, a planet that had an outpost of the same name. They were terribly imaginative, apparently. But whilst trying to enjoy some shore leave on Hefner Bay, some strange things started to occur to members of the crew that, coupled with the arrival of a Klingon D7 battlecruiser, made people wonder what the heck was actually going on. There was an attempt to communicate with the Klingon D7, and they eventually did respond, just claiming that they wanted to bring their ship in for a bit of maintenance and repair. But with the frequency of the weird shenanigans that were going on that suggested some kind of time frappery of some sort, folks started getting a little bit suspicious that something more was going on that may be linked to the appearance of the Klingon D7, the D7 being something of an older ship. But just as the Navis crew were about to track the weird eddies and tetryon currents that were emanating from the... or that were rather being trailed by the Klingon ship, the Klingon D7 turned about and started making for the edge of the system, the same direction the Navis were. Quite hurriedly, and there was a race to see who got there first, and the Klingons were rather determined to get there first to the point that they nearly wrecked their ship in doing so. What we found at the edge of the system was a big black, well, swirling vortex into what seemed like nothing, with a field of debris around it that the Klingon ship was very determined to destroy. No matter how many times the Navis got in the way, the Klingon ship would always try and maneuver around them to be able to keep firing at the debris field around the anomaly. And then we discover that the life forms on board the Klingon D7 registered as Orion, and there were a number of Klingon bodies in the wreckage around the anomaly. But unfortunately, it seemed that the whoever was actually on the Klingon ship, it looks like Orion's, they'd managed to destabilize or do something to the anomaly with all that rampant fire they were letting out that the anomaly started to widen. And that's when both the Navis and the D7 were caught in this massive gravitational wave that flung both ships about, and that's when everybody pretty much blacked out. And when they all come to, well, unfortunately, they find the ship in quite a state. So, before we proceed to dealing with what we've just learned, any questions, comments, or things that I may have forgotten to bring up from everybody else? Because I think I covered everything, but it's always worth checking just in case I have forgotten something.
Just making sure that the Carpathia is fine, you know, it's not got a scratch on it.
Well, you would have to probably contact the flight deck to get that information. And at the moment, everybody's currently struggling to get back into their chairs. Yes, Jan?
He means any scratches besides the key card I ran along it.
Well, Andrews, I think, doesn't know about that, so,
Every time Caval just walks past it, he accidentally scratches it by, you know, even now, he's just like, he tries so hard. He walks across the opposite side of the hangar bay and still manages to scratch it.
Just checking. You did remember to actually lock it to the deck, right?
Technically, that's the flight crew's responsibility in the shuttle bay.
And who does the flight crew report to?
That's a good point. Our Chief Helm Officer. So, yes, nothing, no questions, okay. Then I suppose it's time we got on with things. Everybody comes to after having been tossed from their chairs and maybe even over their consoles to find well, apart from Claude, obviously. Claude is unmovable.
Flinch, yeah.
Claude was focused on button. Did not see what happened.
Just focused on pressing the button.
Okay.
So obviously the alarms are going off because of, well, destruction. But folks are starting to get back to their consoles now as they find that, yes, the ship is in pretty bad shape.
I think the main thing first from me would be for all stations to report damage.
Hockey dokes. So, this would be comms would have to see if they can get a handle on damage reports. And I've just realised that once again, momentum and threat have disappeared from my screen, so I have to quickly reload and hope they return to me. Come back!
I was on the ship, wasn't I? I was doing patrols down the lower bays.
Yes, you were. Oh.
Yeah.
No, you were doing patrols on the lower decks, weren't you? So.
Yeah, on the science decks, that's where the going round and round in a circle.
Right. Okay.
Because I was in the lab and then I noticed things and I started to do a round bait following.
In that case, let me get to you first. Let me get to Edwards first then. Yeah. Edwards, I do have somewhere for you to be. I forgot about that. Edwards, yes, you were indeed down in the science labs, and the last thing you remember is the ship being shaken violently and you careened into a wall. So as Edwards picks himself up, his eye is drawn through the plexiglass into one of the labs, and you can see that one of the consoles has exploded, and there's a fire going on inside the science lab. Pardon me. And there appears to be somebody in there on the floor, unconscious, next to where the console used to be.
Okay. This is probably while in motion. Hit the comm badge to the bridge. Edwards to bridge. Fires down in science lab. Potential casualties. Needs med bay prepped on the triangle.
Why do you message the bridge?
Sorry, bridge the first to say.
Right.
Give you a.
Comms.
I'm giving you a sit rep report as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's contacting comms as damage control.
Yeah.
It's
I've
Standard
just
procedure.
woken up. I don't know what's happened to the bridge. All I know is that the science lab is damaged to this extent. I have no clue what's going on, so I'm giving you the sit rep. Next
Yeah.
one would be med lab.
Comms respond and say, "Thank you, aware of fire. Love you, see you, love you, bye."
No, and it's actually... Sorry, Alex.
Yeah.
No, continue.
It's actually there, and you know how you've got per which ship position you occupy, you've got tasks you can take during the course of usually starship combat. One of the starship position tasks for the communications is the damage report. So communications themselves, the communications officer is responsible for trying to gather all the information together on things like casualty reports and damage reports. So, as it turns out, yes, Edwards fell back on some comms-related training there and communicated to the bridge. So, yeah, nicely done. Well done.
At which point the next one would be med bay. If he has enough time to do that whilst basically trying to make it to the person who's down.
Yeah. Edwards gets a brief message over the comm.
Reports acknowledged, Ensign. Stand by for further information.
That sounded like Ensign Keshen. Right, so what Edwards sees is basically the lab is now on fire, and you are able to use. You're still able to open the door to the science bay, however. Science bay, science lab.
Equivalent of a fire extinguisher. I'm hoping there'd still be within easy reach, or would there literally be like hit a panel by the door to activate the equivalent of a fire suppression?
You could activate the fire suppression system, which would be in the ceiling, but that would put halon gas down into the.
And so as I thought you were about to say, it is one of those ones, so I need to remove the person first.
Yes, you need to get the person out of there first.
Or certification. I was afraid you'd say that. I was just like, please say it's something a bit more targeted. No, it's not. Okay.
So I'm going to require a fitness and it's going to be fitness and security, really. But I'm going to go with fitness and medicine, but either a 0 for you, so it doesn't really matter.
And this is where Edwards rolls a complication and then just runs out of the labs going, "Didn't see it, didn't see it, didn't see it."
Pulls someone out from underneath the wreckage, ends up pulling their arm off by accident. That is a nice set of dice. I like that blue. Woo! Just for that. One success. Yeah, okay. Edwards runs over with just covering his mouth as much as he can with his sleeve. Notices that the one on the floor unconscious and bleeding is Lieutenant Bravo, but wearing the blue uniform of the science crew. So this would be, if I can just remember his name.
Is the one that we don't actually talk about.
Yeah, the one you don't talk about all that much. Inkol. There's two that you don't see with much frequency. There's the Bravo of Stellar Cartography, and there's this fella, the Science Division Bravo, Inkol. Yep, he was next. He apparently was next to the console when it exploded, so he looks to be in a bit of a bad way.
Try to get him out the door, hit the fire suppression, then request if it's possible to beam directly to sickbay. I imagine it's going to be a daring roll at one point.
Well, your fitness and security check succeeded, so you're able to successfully pull Bravo out of the room and seal the door so that you can activate the fire suppression system. Which, yes, contains the fire for now. But it seems like it's an electrical fire, so it might, something sparks, it might spark again, but for the moment you've gotten whoever was in danger of being burnt alive in there out. So that's good. Contacting sickbay, yep, your call goes through, but at the moment, things appear to be a little bit hectic. So we're gonna... Multiple fires, several systems compromised, power surges, slight headache, loss of appetite, yes indeed. So we're gonna jump to the bridge momentarily as, yes,
on the planet.
Andrew's asked for a damage report.
Everyone's back on ship.
Most are back on ship, yeah. So
Yeah, everyone was back on before we left.
all right. So Ents and Keshen.
Damage report coming in, Commander. Reading damage to shield grids 1 through 9. Shields are down. Structural damage on deck 3. Primary shield generators on that deck have also been damaged. Weapon systems are showing malfunction. Engineering seems to have taken some damage as well. We have fire just reported in the main science labs on deck 4. Helm and navigational systems appear to be damaged. Engines and thrusters are currently offline. We have reports of several injured crew members. No fatalities so far, 1 serious.
What about the anomaly? This is mainly asking it to science.
Yes, indeed. The anomaly. Since we don't have our science officer at the moment, the anomaly at the moment appears to have expanded, and as such, when it expanded, it issued out a massive gravitational wave, a blast of gravitons and tetryons. That struck not only this ship, but the Klingon ship too. Both ships appear to be listing in space at the moment. Nothing else appears to be happening with the anomaly at the moment. So, yes, Vibers down in engineering, Vibers and the rest of his engineering team basically got thrown about like a ping pong ball in a can.
Yep.
And a couple of important systems have sparked and fired. So you've got folks who are having to be taken to sick bay because they've been knocked about, and you've got others who are trying desperately now to try and figure out what the heck's gone on. You have lost a fair amount of power.
Okay, first team, get to double check antimatter containment. We don't want this getting any worse. Second team, go make sure you're on EPS grid repairs. Make sure nothing explodes. That's going to take out the rest of the ship. Right, third team, you and me. We're going to deal with whatever's currently burning in here.
Alright, so the general thrust of it is that
Don't make it worse. Try and fix the stuff that's gotta be necessary for keep us alive, keep us warm, breathing, warm, able to move, and preferably not explode.
I think the fires can keep us warm.
Right. Fires
toasted.
are easy to fix on a spaceship, just not when people are in the room.
So what's essentially happened is that the entire ship's superstructure got walloped with a massive gravitational wave, which, of course, meant things shook and twisted and moved from their individual frames. As such, things that are, like, bolted down and wired in, like, I don't know, the warp core, momentarily shifted in its frame, which means that, you know, things that shouldn't have moved. And as such, you've got a couple of things. The most pressing matter of which is that your power system is leaking power. You are losing power. So you've lost a huge whack from the whack of power from the ship system from the initial impact, but now the ship's warp drive and backup reactors are appear to be leaking power.
I would suggest.
Right, we're leaking power from a damage control perspective in engineering. That means something's about to explode. Right. Sorry,
Webby, you were going to say?
I was going to say is that if we are leaking power, I assume that's coming through into the bridge. So there would be a suggestion that if Vibers needs Nova's assistance is that Nova makes her way down there as well. Or Nova works on one of the other systems on the upper decks, like Deck 3, where the shield generator is currently knackered.
Engineering to operations?
So this is going through to Nova from Vibers.
Operations receiving.
Right, we've got major power leakage somewhere in the grid. My guys are kind of overstretched and trying to make sure stuff don't explode. Can you narrow it down for me?
Sure thing.
Alrighty. Now the problem your damage control teams have got is that because of the structural damage to Deck 3, anybody on Decks 1 and 2 cannot get past the wreckage until it's cleared. So moving about the place is going to be difficult.
Does that include via the cat runs?
That's a good point. The cat runs would probably be the primary way of getting around. But even then, Nova would have to look and see how badly the Deck 3 areas of her cat run are compromised.
Take Mr. Clawt with you. He can just walk through the wreckage.
So, yeah, you've got fires and minor hull breaches, which means that it's problematic to reach parts of the ship in need of repair. So, the complication range of all engineering tasks to repair systems is increased by 2. The ship's resistance has been knocked down by 1. The difficulty to repair this is 3. But we're looking at power at the moment, aren't we? So we're at the very least looking to diagnose the problem. So this will be a... let me think. Nova. What are we going to look at here? This is probably going to be a reason and engineering check for Nova. Inner workings are going to be the applicable focus. I'm going to make it difficulty... Well, it's going to be difficulty 3 because of the problem with the engines. Whenever you attempt a task, a technical problem with your ship, you add a bonus D20. Yes. It's almost like I've given you the excuse to finally use that talent. Hooray for me.
Use the ship. The ship is not on fire, damn it.
Just tell it off. Bad. No fire.
Okay. Obviously the ship can't help you in this case because you're trying to tend to the ship. So, yeah. Roll 3 dice.
Alright.
Unless you want to add more to it. Multicolored dice. 3 successes. Alright then, so... the system has been significantly damaged. So... yeah, Nova is able to diagnose that because the whole superstructure of the ship rocked and twisted due to the gravitational stresses. Some of the power conduits leading out of the main warp core and out of the secondary reactors were freed from their housings. So you've got readings of a couple of them that have come loose, and as a result, some of the power being drawn out of them is insufficient, but that also means that you've got the problem of plasma fires where those EPS conduits have disconnected from their housings. So yeah, that's going to be engineering's most pressing problem, but at least now that Nova has identified it, you know where to go and what to do. So for fibers, this is definitely going to be a... this is going to be a daring and engineering check to try and repair this.
Right. Okay. Anyone mind if I burn 2 momentum on this?
Nope.
Well, it'll have to be 1 or 3.
Yes.
No, it's 2.
You're creating an advantage?
Yes, I'm.
Sorry.
I am getting out the manuals.
Alright then. Create an advantage. You may reroll d20 during the next engineering task. Because you are creating an advantage, the difficulty goes from 3 to 2. And you can
Makes
reroll
sense.
one of your dice.
The table he's been propping up with that manual's been exploded, so you might as well use it for something else.
What are you on about? The walls of engineering are just manuals behind steel cabinets.
You've been lining the walls with manuals rather than insulation. Right, okay.
And I do 6 impossible things before breakfast.
Aha! Justification for the expenditure of a determination point. Okie dokie.
Yep. So, go.
4 successes. 2 over what you needed, so you get those 2 momentum points that you spent on creating the advantage back. Alright, so the good news is you've stopped the power leakage. The power has
5
stopped at
successes.
where it's at. 5 successes. So if I can just
Hey,
get to
for
the
reroll, I'm getting it.
Yep. Right, out of 15 points of available power at maximum, the ship is now down to 4. Shields are still offline. You've got a lot of damage to see to. So, back to the command section for the moment. Or the bridge, rather. Yes, the ship's in an awful, awful mess. So, you've got... I mean, EXO has the capacity to try and coordinate damage control teams.
Yeah.
There's still the matter of the Orions on the Klingon ship, but at the moment you do have somewhat more pressing concerns. The Doctor, of course, is going to have to deal with the mess coming in from people being hurt, but that's a good point actually, because Edwards was taking somebody to sick bay. So yes, thankfully, because you're on deck 4, you're not far from sick bay at all, so you've got a distinct advantage on timing there. At the moment, there's not much Caval can do because thrusters and engines are pretty much off and out. So whatever Fazanan and others think they can do to assist with any and all of the problems that are going on at the moment is up to you guys to decide.
I think
However,
Caval,
go on.
Caval will just assist maybe in getting people who are injured to sick bay, so accompanying maybe some of the security teams.
Oh, items. So, yes, there's a... let me think back to what I just said. There's going to be a problem with Caval getting to sickbay because of the damage to Deck 3. Deck 3 at the moment is impassable due to the structural damage. So, at the moment, Caval's best bet would probably to try and help repair or at least reprogram the Hellman navigational systems, because they're not working like they should at the moment. What were you going to say, Webby?
I was just going to say is that you could potentially get Caval and some of the other bridge crew to be working on getting Deck 3 passable, because having the ship currently cut in 2 really hampers with repairs.
That's a good point. So, whilst... So we can assume that Jan is trying to... sorry. Caval is trying to get things working on the navigational side of things. Do not confuse the player with the character, man. Ooh.
I'm blue.
Daboo dee daboo die. Let's think. Going to be trying to. The system has taken some damage, but just needs to be brought back online so it's working correctly. Even though for the moment thrusters and impulse engines, needless to say, the warp drive is offline. So let's give Commander Thazanan a. Let's go with reason and con. Check. I'm going to make this difficulty 2 to see if you can get the system back and working.
Will helm operations help, or...?
Yes, indeed. You know how it's supposed to work, and basically it's not working like it's supposed to. Excuse me. Okay, so having trouble at the moment. I mean, there is the option of succeeding at cost. Unless you want to leave it at that, of course.
I think for the moment I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so basically, yeah, the system is not operating like it should. The computer isn't the helm computer isn't. The navigational computer isn't reporting the data it should. So something somewhere is screwed up, and your attempt to try and fix it at the moment has met with no success, I am afraid. Now, XO just suggested that some folks should go down to Deck 3 in order to try and help clear the debris, which is not a bad idea at all. So, let's grab... Let me think. Now, Edwards was on Deck 4, so he's beneath all of this trouble, so he is more than likely gonna be arriving at sickbay very, very soon. So, put Edwards and Doc Bertram and the rest to one side for now while we figure out how we're going to do this with Andrews. Well, who does Andrews want to take in trying to clear the mess on Deck 3?
We could always go on a spacewalk. Get round.
Well, I think Mr. Strongman. Nova is currently working on the shields, so potentially Claw, possibly even Hello.
Okay, so Andrew's taking Hello.
And Kirst has also got electrical engineering focus as well.
Righty ho ho. Nova was at that point was looking at power and seeing that it's getting pretty bad. But luckily, it seems the engineering team have got the power leak under control. Doesn't mean they've got the rest under control. So we'll come back to what Nova wants to do in a moment after we deal with what Andrews and her team are going to do to try and alleviate the situation with Deck 3. So... so somebody is going to have to be the primary, so whoever's got engineering reasonably high. I'm seeing a schematic of something here. Deck 3! Aha! Aha! Very good. Who has got... well, it's going to be... Hello's got engineering of 3. Kirst has got engineering of 3 as well.
Kirst's got mechanical, electrical engineering as well. But...
so Kirst and or Hello could potentially be the lead. No, Hello could not be the lead as well. It's going to be either Kirst or Hello. And yes, as has been pointed out, electrical engineering Kirst does have. So if you want, you can have Kirst as the lead. And other folks can assist. So, you know, Hello could do something to assist, Claude could do something else to assist, and Andrews could tell them all how to do it better.
Yeah, I've just used the crystal flight. I'm going to use the crystal flight medal of valor.
In a command, face of danger, once per mission, instead of rolling normally, you may treat d20s as if it rolled a 1. Cool. So you automatically gain 2 successes. There. So, Sean, we're going to need Hello to give us a... probably a daring and engineering check with 1 dice in order to try and assist with clearing this this mess. Focus on, I don't know.
More management.
Yeah.
Control.
Either of those will do. Who wants to go as Claude? Davis has done stuff, so how about Gareth?
Okay, on my rolling.
And let's have Yana's curse. Alex hasn't actually rolled yet for anything, have you? Yes, you have.
You rolled,
Yeah.
you rolled,
Yeah,
Jan
so Jan hasn't rolled as much. So yeah, heck with it. Gareth, because you roll so well, you can be Claude and display Claude's awesomeness.
No pressure. Is it daring
Claude's
and engineering as well?
I was thinking more it was going to be fitness and security of him physically moving stuff out the way.
Okay.
and Andrew's just fangirling behind him.
And
I don't suppose hand-to-hand combat will count as a focus for this.
Totally
It's
will.
combat's the matter.
really?
He's just gonna chop his way. He's just gonna
Judo chop.
Yeah, judo chop.
Because that's safe. That's fine. If
Is it,
anything falls, it'll fall on him and it'll just bend rather than... I get it. I get it. 1 success from the Claude. Was one away from a double success there. Never mind. So unit,
If
hello,
only he
Claude.
could have focused through a judo chop.
Andrews has automatically scored a roll of 1, hasn't she?
Yes.
So that's 3 successes so far. So Jan, if you could be cursed. Let's see. If she's doing electrical engineering, then she needs to do a bit of daring and engineering, I think. If you could be so kind. 2 dice for cursed, please. Ooh, that's good. That's all very good. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Complication range of all engineering tasks to repair systems was up by 2, so... Right.
It's fine, that's 18.
Yes, so you just missed it. Reduced Bravo and difficulty was 3. You scored 5 in total, so that's well over what you needed. So, after a good bit of work, you do manage to clear enough space and secure the dangerous bits to allow damage control teams and medical teams to get past. So, yes, well, very well done. So, whilst that was going on, let's see, Natala wouldn't have been doing terribly much except trying to keep sensors internal and external on everything that was going on.
I'd say that she's probably recording everything that's going on with
Yeah.
the anomaly. Trying to get as much information, see whether the Klingons are in the same state as us.
Okay, so... Give me a second with that, then. Okay. According to what Natala's able to tell from the sensor readings, the Klingon ship was already pretty beaten up. So it is in a lot worse a state than the Navis is. Nothing too bad at the moment. I mean, the Klingon ship's shields are down. It suffered structural damage just like the Navis has. Its power systems seems to be fluctuating, but other than that, it seems to be not in danger of any kind of critical overload or anything like that, but they are also deprived of their shields and of their engines. So they are in just as bad a spot as you guys. After diagnosing the power problem, what was Nova's next priority, do you think?
I think at this point it'd probably be getting the ship more power to be available repair systems, potentially getting the shields back online, or thrust if we need it. So I think it'd be working through shutting down anything and isolating anything that seems to be a damaged connection, bypassing those and conserving as much power to generate more power as possible. So turning off Caval's game of solitaire.
I think you'll find it's Gallagher.
F0X. Come on, Fazanaz wants to do speed.
Alright. Trying to get power out from where it was before is basically going to be the same power task that you're used to with internal systems. So power management is going to be a daring or control plus engineering task with a difficulty of 2. Ooh, that's a good point. Oh, no, sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. Now, because Deck 3 has been more or less cleared, it's not quite as bad as it was, therefore damage control teams can get to it easier, so you're not suffering any kind of difficulty in regards to that. But engines are still damaged. So let's look at what we need to... I'm going to stand by what I said. It's going to be a daring and engineering check, difficulty 2, as per usual, to try and draw extra power out of the ship to try and stave off any unexpected drop in power that could leave you without it. So if you could give me that roll then, please, Sean. Inner workings, as usual, work as a focus since you're used to trying to manage the power. Two successes, exactly what you need. So you managed to get 1 back, but don't you have something that allows you to generate a second? A little more power. Whenever you succeed in an engineering task, you may spend 1 momentum to regain 1 spent power. So there's that option, if you want to grab momentum and use that to add more power.
Yep.
Yep. Now I forget, does that... So, okay. The ship is looking in a bit better a state as far as power goes at the moment. You've now got a kind of a nice little buffer zone going. So the next thing we're probably going to have to deal with is engineering, and there. Actually, no. Let me check that. Let me get a sick bay. Sick bay, as we can see, is having a bit of a day. And Edwards has not long arrived in sickbay with Lieutenant Bravo of Science slung over his shoulders and gets guided in by one of Bertram's nursing staff to put him on a bio bed. Dr. Bertram himself is a little bit busy treating another crew member, someone who was caught on Deck 3 when it went kablooey. The other 2 on the bio beds are from the engineering staff, so Bertram has got his hands full at the moment. What have I told you about walking around Deck 3? What was that? Sorry, Alex.
He would, was it Edwards would report to Bertram and offer what help he could.
Yep, Bertram will take any help he can offer.
All right,
Just
so
remember how well I did when I was put under him. I don't think but yes, he will try his best.
So, Gareth, if I can get you to be Nurse Natif,
Nurse Natif.
one of your staff, because the doc himself is a bit, how shall we say, occupied.
Yep.
This is going to be, what is it usually with medical? Just find it from your main engineering sickbay tasks to get people back up and running again. It's usually daring and medicine, aided by computers and medicine. So,
diagnostics for focus.
yes, indeed. Edwards, daring and medicine, I suppose.
One, ha ha ha.
So, a whole 8 to try and get under. I'm guessing, obviously, I'm not the primary, so wish me luck. Don't die.
Okay, so no complications. You're fine. If I could get, who else hasn't rolled in a little bit? Webber, you haven't actually rolled anything. You just declared that you were using your ability to automatically get a roll of a 1. So why don't you be the ship which supports this action, using the ship's computers and medicine. 1 dice, if you please. Okay, 1 success. Good. So we got the 2 successes we need. So thankfully, Lieutenant Bravo has been stabilized. So he's not going to lose any more blood. He's still injured, but at the very least, the threat to life has been dealt with. Phew. So with that in mind, is Edwards sticking around in sickbay?
Yeah.
All right.
He
then.
reported to the doctor, so it's whatever else he can do to help.
Okay. Quickly jump us then to engineering. So if Edwards is in sickbay, he's not in engineering. Apparently unhappy party wants to improve our channel, guys.
Who wants to improve our channel? Sorry, what?
A bot.
Alright.
Oh dear.
Well, you're big enough to attract bots now.
Way.
Dum dum dum.
I feel so special. I'm gonna get myself a little sparkly cake.
Now,
Why
if I
the
just
voice,
root
Matt?
this-
Oh, that or hello
Like
is just
the
gain
shrew.
sentience in the real world, and that's what it is.
What you
Yeesh.
do, Matt, is just moving closer to the camera. We say that I have now more presence.
Well, considering I am closer to the camera than I usually am, now that I've moved back into the other room, I don't think you want me closer to the camera, to be...
That's how we know how successful you are. You get closer and closer to the camera to yourself an eye.
Do
Like
it.
from paranoia.
I'm just the big eye.
No, don't do that. That was Neelix's intro.
Yes! Poor Ethan Phillips.
Take it back for people who aren't Neelix and terrible.
He just wasn't given... He wasn't given enough to do by the end. The same with Robert Beltran, really.
Well, yeah, it all just focused on the Doctor and 7 of 9 towards the end. Chakotay just became the most blandest character on there.
Still love the SF debriefing of every episode. It's like, because as we all know, Chakotay has always had an interest in sounds of dice rolling, archaeology.
You probably can't hear it due to the noise reduction that goes on my microphone, but I was actually clapping. Yeah, so there you go.
Well, given that what else he had to distract from the fact that he's just watching Kim be tortured over and over again.
Yeah. And the most competent person in Starfleet never actually getting past Lieutenant Porton.
Well, back in
Don't
engineering.
request you back down to ensign.
Didn't Kate Mulgrew actually say that during, like, a when the cast re-met for like the 20th anniversary or something?
Probably.
That was it. Apparently, oh, I've forgotten the actor's name who plays Kim.
Was it Gareth Wan?
Thank you.
Gareth Wan.
Jeez, sorry, Garrett. I saw your name on the credits enough times, it just blanked all of a sudden. Apparently, he does really good impressions of some members of the crew, and Kate Mulgrew was like, "Really? Do me?" And then by the end of it, she said, "No wonder you weren't promoted to anything but ensign." Anyway, tangent.
Tangent alarm.
But it was a tangent to do with the subject, so we're not far off.
It's
We need to
educational.
bounce the gravitating particle beam off the main deflector dish.
No!
Making stuff up as we wish.
Yes, due to the nature of some of the content of that particular Voltaire song, we will not be reciting the rest of it. As much as I want to, and believe me, I really want to. Anyway, yes, engineering!
Wanna go home.
Engineering! Right,
Yes.
we have a problem.
Many, many problems.
Right, so Vibers has just received word that thanks to the efforts of some of the bridge crew helping out, the main structural damage up on deck 3 has been dealt with, so folks are able to move, you know, up and down the decks again now in that area, so that's...
Good, the bridge isn't going to fly off into space and we're not going to lose both pylons. Good to know.
Indeed, indeed.
Well,
but
as was said
You must
earlier, the
construct
bridge is the
more
emergency
pylons.
lifeboat, so, you know, sucks to be engineering.
Hi guys!
It,
Good luck!
it's alright, I can eject the core so it hits you on your way out.
This'll teach them. Left a bit, and release! Oh,
Now
dear.
load up the second one.
We've got two more where that came from. Anyway, yes. Engineering is still suffering from a big problem with the damage to the system, so this is going to be an overall repair job to try and get to basically repair the disadvantage that anyone who's going to use the engines on the ship is going to suffer a what's the word I'm looking for? An increase in the difficulty of any tasks to do with that. And luckily, thanks to Vibers and Nova working together, they managed to identify the leak of the power and plug it. So you're not losing power anymore, but you've still got the overall damage and problem. So we're gonna jump to you fixing that. So there is somewhere in here. I'll bring him over. There's a Lieutenant Bravo, ever at the chief's side, trying to help fix things. Whether or not Bravo has still got both his eyebrows at this point is up to you guys. But yes, Vibers and Bravo, so Jan could probably be Bravo at this point, helping to try and fix the engineering problem, the engines on the ship. At the very least, stop it so that you don't have the same problem with using the ship's engines with any other system. So this is going to be a difficulty 3 task requiring daring and engineering. Any talents and abilities that you want to use to soften the blow or to do whatever with?
Bravo's got damage control.
He does. That's a good point. I forgot about that. Not to mention, he's also got... I'm giving it all she's got!
Yeah, you haven't got the power.
So he can help with the fact that you've got not much power on the ship. I'll say not much.
Tempting.
Star Cross. Okay, twice your discipline score. Nicey nice. So, yeah,
I'll
if we
kick
can
that
get...
one in. I'm not sure how you roll that.
We'll just...
Yeah.
Go on, sorry, Sean.
You can't. You just gotta remember it's there.
Pretty much.
Okay. Right.
Oh, it nearly rolled a 4. But still one success, so well done, the Bravo. So this is now on the boss.
On the boss with double my discipline.
So engineering in this case would be up to 10. You didn't get a 10 on either of those.
No.
That's still one success.
It's not
okay.
Helpful.
And an 18.
And an 18. Now, let me check. Damage to engines. Was that the thing that... Thankfully, because of Andrews and her team helping repair the structural damage, the complication range of engineering tasks to repair systems has gone back to normal. So thankfully the 18 doesn't result in a complication, lucky for you. However, Vibers and his team are having trouble repairing this system. It's a lot more damaged than you thought. Alright. It's at this juncture that we return to the bridge.
Rebalance isn't working well.
Indeed not. This ship took a hell of a whack. Back on the bridge, with Claught and everyone else returning to their posts as they come back on. Caval's still having problems with the navigational computer not giving the right outputs, but you have more pressing concerns when Natala reports that sensors have just registered a transporter beam active from the Klingon ship. And the transporter beam has landed in the main shuttle bay. I say landed. Whoever's transported from the Klingon ship has rematerialized in the primary shuttle bay.
Locked down. Well, captain's there, so I'd probably say that she'd lock down the main shuttle bay and order security teams to shuttle bay, and then order to get the shields back online as next priority.
Okay.
Probably be my suggestion, but again, open to the rest of the group.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So, yes, a lockdown protocol is initiated on the primary shuttle bay, and security teams are ordered to converge on that location. It takes a couple of moments, but then a further computer alert comes to Natala's internal sensors as she registers that somebody in the whoever it was that landed in the primary shuttle bay managed to somehow override one of the locks on the doors exiting the shuttle bay, and as a result a number of life signatures that beamed in onto the shuttle bay have now dispersed into the ship. It seems that the large congregation of life forms are now splitting up and are moving about the ship.
Lock down the entire deck.
Alright then. The command is issued to lock down the entire deck, and that's when Captain Ducasse presses a button on her command on the command console on the armrest of her chair. Computer, initiates Vibers Letude Ducasse security lockdown of the main computer. At which point, the computer gives a acknowledged report, and the instrumentation in front of everybody changes. Where before, either it was flickering because it wasn't working, and it's still flickering to an extent if it wasn't working before. But where before you just had free access, all of a sudden you are each challenged with an access barrier. I'd like to introduce you all to something I was working on whilst during our last refit. I took the idea behind Viber's and Lechude's main computer encryption lockdown and added my own personal flair to it. The lockdown on the main computer can be lifted by each individual by putting their hand to the console and awaiting a bioscan. The console will initiate a scan of your brainwaves, and if it matches the bioscan on file, then the handprint and the brain scan together should unlock your console and allow you to operate normally. You will have to do this every 20 minutes, otherwise it will automatically relock. If the brain scan detects any abnormalities that suggest that you are stressed or are operating under duress, it will not allow access.
I think in this situation everyone is stressed.
So
the same
everybody maintain your composure.
I'd like to point out as well, the only one on the bridge, the only ones on the bridge are Natala, Keshin, and Fazanan.
Fine, fine.
So she's told this to those ones, and everyone else is just like,
So
Well,
this
I'm
is
in the
going to have to
middle
be
of
spread on.
rebalancing the engine. The
This
power
is going to be
system
spread back
helping
around on
everyone
comms.
The power systems are held together with duct tape. The engines aren't balanced at all, and we're trying to figure that one out. We're just double check the warp core isn't going to explode, and the captain puts us on computer lockdown and says we need to be calm.
Spivers is just losing. It's like,
At least I can raise shields without using my hand.
Brain aneurysms
Yeah.
were curable, right, in Star Trek?
So basically,
Right.
the engineering team can still go about their business repairing stuff because that's more of a manual job. Anyways, accessing things in order to try and, you know, bring things back online, you'll just need to, you know, give your handprint and have the brain scan. No problem.
Yeah, I think Andrews and Claw would be heading to secure
Put your teeth
main
back in.
shuttle bay,
All right then.
along with tying in with Security Bravo and his team.
So you're heading down to the main shuttle bay. That's all the way down on... Now, where are we? Here's the primary
11.
machine shop, so... Ooh, where was it? The primary machine shop, the shuttle and fighter preparation pre-flight bay was on deck 10, so I think you're right. Shuttle bay 4.5 access is deck 12. But the shuttle bay still counts as on deck 11 as well, because your shuttle bay is so enormous. But primary access to the shuttle bay is on deck 12, so you are going that away. And
Yeah, basically asking
let's
with
think.
the very limited control that Natala has on her system is to continue to observe and identify where the interlopers are.
okie dokie. So, with that, can I... Actually, you're on 5 momentum. John's not here for the moment, so let's think. You were on deck 3. You're trying to get down to there.
Our transporter's online because it just have asked.
Transporters are online. Okay, so what happens is as Claude and Andrews start heading down, you get an alert notifying you that the whoever has invaded the ship has split up into multiple groups. Groups seem to be heading in the direction of the primary computer core, the transporter room, and main engineering. But she's having trouble tracking all of them because some of them are breaking off and going into the Jeffries tubes and are apparently deploying some kind of sensor screen. So,
out of them, the main computer doesn't bother me because it's on full lockdown. Engineering kind of bothers me. Transporter room has potential to cause issues for us, but it's untuned, so he'll just bore them to death when they get into his office.
Okie dokie do. So,
I'd probably suggest that Bravo and his team focus on securing main transporter, the transporter room, and then the main computer. And we'll Claude, Natik, and I would do. Well, no, Claude and I would do main engineering because there's enough engineers in there to kind of be enough bodies, and then we both converge on main computer.
Right, so you guys are going. So once again, Natik and Bravo are going to the transporter room. Claude and Andrews are going to
main engineering.
Main engineering. Okie spokes.
There needs to be someone heading to the main computer core fairly quickly in case they start trying to break the encryptions.
Well, what do Thazanan and Nova want to do?
Thazanan still has to repair the nav console.
Yes. However, the ship's engines are out, so it's not going anywhere, even if you could get the navigational system and helm systems back online, so... But if you think he'd definitely stay.
No, well, there is the security threat, and Thazanan is not too shabby at security, so...
No, indeed.
We could take the main computer.
We could take the main computer.
Yeah, and then take control of the ship. I mean,
So, Nova and Thazanan try and take out the group at main computer core?
Yep, sounds good.
Fine by me.
Alright. So,
It was then that the players realised they'd effed up.
Okay,
allowing Nova into the main computer core.
yeah.
This was all a plot by Nova all along.
Here's the question though: does Hello's handprint work on Ops? Because
I like that handprint.
He's got hands. He's deliberately got hands.
Yeah. All this time we thought that Vibers was the one working with the Orions. Turns out it's Nova.
Right, so, if Claude and Andrews are heading out, what I'll do is I'll move them over here for the time being, and do we have a tactical officer in waiting to take over? We've got a generic TAC officer, so let's put that one there. We can think of a name for him later. Whereas if Nova and Cabal are going elsewhere...
Ensign John Doe, we never got to know his name.
It's Gene Eric. It's
Gene Eric, yeah.
Jenny and Jean, alright.
Yeah, it's Jenny's husband.
John.
Jenny and Jean, power extreme.
No, Jean's fine. Because Jean, like Gene Roddenberry. There you go.
Yeah, Gene Eric.
All right then. I like how the story just, you know, the story of the crew just continues to grow. All right, so you guys are going to engineering. You guys are going to main computer, and Bravo Security is heading to the transport room. All right, so let's first duck down to main engineering. It's going to take a bit for Andrews and Claude to get there, but not too long. What happened there? That's weird. I tried moving something then, and something weird just happened.
You got a target effect come up.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Odd! In any case, let's go down to engineering. We'll have us a jolly old time. Where's this song coming from, Matt? And where is it going? I don't know.
Told you it was the musical episode.
Oh, nobody wants that, trust me. If just for my singing voice, which...
Andrews just turns to Claude, just like, you and me and you, both of us together.
Right. Vibers and Bravo down in engineering are busy welding, sawing, drilling, anything that needs to happen in order to get this baby moving again, and that's when Vibers hears a startled cry from back behind him as he hears a phaser shot go off, and one of his engineers actually gets hit. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are intruders in main engineering.
Works better if I unmute. Right. Okay, Vibers' first reaction. Well, two things on first reaction. One is seal the door right behind him, because intruders getting at the thing that could blow up and kill us all. No thanks.
Right, so I'm going to assume that Vibers wants to go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Vibers. I'll go with 7. Ooh, I can't move him. So let's move this guy. There we go. So one of them, one of you. One of them, one of them. Bloody bloody blue. And of course we'll deal with Andrews and Claude getting there with all in due time, but the interlopers get some time first as they come round the corner. So Vibers gets to declare what he's doing first. He's trying to seal the door.
Seal the door, and...
Now, what about his people who are on the other side of this?
Yes. My people on the other side is, while I'm sealing the door, it's a message to... Can we do site... Can Bravo do site-to-site transport, some engineering? Or is that a Latude job?
He could, technically, because the deal with the Alcar system, as far as I remember, is that you can bring any... You can practically transfer any command system to any other system. You need the authorization to do so, but...
We're in main engineering stuff it.
What it sounds like you want to do then is maybe have Bravo go first to do the transport, and
but Bravo go first and do the transport, and then I'll seal the hatch after.
Okay, so let's wind this back a bit. Right then, if Webby's going to be Andrews, somebody's gonna be Claude, and somebody's gonna be Bravo, so... Who hasn't rolled in a while? Gareth and Alex haven't rolled in a while, so... Which one of you would like to bear the responsibility of bringing the stray engineering crew to safety?
Sure, why not?
Hey! Alright then, so this is going to be a very quick and dirty action, so this is going to be daring and engineering, but we will allow Gareth to bring in the ship as assisting.
Okay.
With...
Alex can't bear the thought of playing Claude, the responsibility is too high.
The ship can aid with... Ooh, what was it? Sensors and engineering, please.
Okay.
The ship makes it. I think the ship makes it. I haven't got register on the success or failure. There we go. 3 successes, which was exactly what you needed. So, thankfully, yes, a quick site-to-site transport is enabled. Bringing these folks onto the other side. Let's move that one out of the area of the warp core quite quickly.
Not in the
very quickly. Very, very quickly.
But we saved him. Oh dear.
Yeah. It was then that Bravo realised he may have made a boo-boo.
It's okay,
So-
you might get supernatural powers from it.
One of the
Vaporised in a
Orions
second.
dashes forward and just lays down covering fire, which is basically shooting with the intention of giving anybody intent on shooting back or moving a difficulty in doing so. He just ends. He runs forward and stops at the primary engineering console over here, and then just starts to lay down fire, being careful not to hit the warp core. He just seems to be concentrating on keeping you pinned down. Vibers.
Close hatch.
Okay, so that's a pretty easy job. I won't require anything out of you there. So what I'm going to do is... I'm going to draw a door. And there we have it. The blast door lowers with a... Now, didn't I have... Yes, I did. Down it goes, and it's sealed. So your guys are currently safe. Now, that I would say was a fast action because all you did was basically press a button. So does Vibers want to do anything with his slow action? Like access a console or something?
Yes. Vibers is... Well, since there are none of our people left in the area, because I've got my team out and no one else has told me they're there yet. This could go horribly wrong. But what I'm thinking is, whatever they are, they need to breathe.
I mean, I was thinking that, but I thought it'd be a bit too ruthless. It was like vent them into space.
No, I'm not gonna go that far.
Just switch the
I
oxygen
Loads
on
off.
deck.
Yeah, fair enough.
They'll fall over unconscious and we can sort them from that. So, yeah. Joy, I turn on the fire suppression.
Oh God! No!
I'm just saying, this is FTL faster like tactics.
Yeah, right,
Like move
okay,
into.
turning the fire suppression on is horrific because they will effectively drown. Because Novak is a horrible substance.
They got cures for that in the future, right?
So, Vibers is basically activating, what, the life support system?
Right. Just trying to think the best way to... I want to knock him out. So, he's using one of the fire suppression systems, not the one of pumping stuff in, but the one of pumping air out.
Alrighty.
So it's going to reduce the air pressure in the area and they might hypoxiate and fall over.
Can I get a daring and Daring an engineering check from you, then I am gonna make this a difficulty 2.
Oddly enough, I haven't got a focus in screwing around with the environmental systems.
Oddly, no.
And for once, I'm not actually going to pull a crazy one on that, so let's just see what I get.
2 successes, exactly what you needed. Okay. Alrighty then, that makes the next bit very interesting. These guys run in and does something that you can't see, then realizes he's starting to have trouble breathing. The next guy runs up to cover that one, but then realizes he's getting awfully dizzy too. This guy's not feeling so good. He's a bit wibbly wobbly and starts stumbling in this direction, not sure what he's doing. That one doesn't like the way this is going at all and starts to stumble in a different direction, back the way he came. Now, before I pass this around to the next, well, round, this would be where Claude and Andrews make their appearance, so...
Then start suffocating.
Now, before Claude and Andrews gain access to the engineering section, because they come through a door, they'd more than likely get the alert from the main computer that life support hasn't been turned off, but air is being vented in the main engineering section, so...
Potential hull breach in this section.
Okay.
So how would Claude and Andrews like to proceed?
Yeah, would that be classed as standard procedure for security, or is that... I think that's more...
That's very much not standard, because that's standard action.
Yeah, it's not standard. Well, it's
not standard procedure.
If you actually watch the Star Trek episodes, no one ever does it, but it's actually very effective. We never, they never do it.
Most people have got slightly more morals than survivors.
Yeah, this is true. Is there an emergency respirator? Is there any emergency medical stations?
I will say that you probably have to go find one, so Claude and Andrews are probably going to miss this turn in order to find said gear. In order to then get ready to access engineering. Claude does breathe.
Andrews is probably more suited for holding her breath with survival training.
But Andrews is trained in damage control, so you know there's emergency force fields and things you could just put up it so you can go up around the corner.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, okay. You do have authorization, so essentially where the borders are for
the scenes.
For yeah, the zones. Pardon me. There are places that you can put force fields up, but other places too. You can draw where you think the you can also use the drawing tool to draw where you want the force fields to go up. You've got the authorization to order force fields and the and a moving block of breathable air. If you want to do it that way.
Yeah, I'd do like Navis said for initially, is that send Claude to get a respirator if the force fields have failed or are failing.
Okay, so Claude at the moment is going off to find respirators. Andrews is then coming into main engineering and activating force field?
Well, yeah, getting to, like, we say that it's there.
Okay.
Because that's just enough around the corner, and then with it... Nope. I want to draw a line. There we go. There.
Cool. Bzz. Do I have a sound effect for force field? I do not. That's a shame. Right, the force field flickers on, and Andrews is able to, after a second or two, let out the breath that she'd been holding. And yes, Andrews can see a single Orion, kind of rudely kitted out in not exactly combat gear, but the rough equivalent of, if you were to, the kind of stuff that you imagine folks buy if they want to look like they're wearing combat gear, but it's not actual, you know, not actual military, more like military surplus, that kind of thing. But yes, this one is currently wibbling and wobbling on his feet from the, probably from the lack of oxygen in the air. So.
So it's deliberate. We'll let him suffocate for a little bit.
Okay, so Claude's gone to do something. Andrews has just not much Andrews can do at this point, but because you're just watching them basically suffocate. Bravo! Oh, bravo! Actually, I should do them, you, but then I remembered that Andrews has got the ability to monkey with the order anyway. For free! So that means for this round, you all may as well go first. So, what does Bravo want to do?
Any first round?
This is technically your first round, so I'm fine with that. During the first round of any combat, well, yeah, like I said, technically your first round, and I've already changed it. I'm not going to change it back now. It's fine. What would Bravo like to do? This can be a collective decision. What do you think Bravo should do for him? I mean, the obvious thing here is to just wait until the air in the room goes out. So if you want, you can all just wait and see what happens to the Orions. You do have access to internal sensors, so I guess you could do that. Keep an eye on what they're doing.
Probably check to see where the others are going, which way the others are heading. Guess you said they were escaping back, so where are they heading to?
Bravo, using the instrumentation in front of him, excuse me, can get the internal sensors to tell him that there are currently 5 intruders here on this level, but there are more heading towards the transporter room. Look like to be 5. Another 5 are broken off and are heading towards the primary computer core. Where the rest have gone, it's not obvious. However, getting an internal sensors look at what's going on to the Orions themselves, I mean, if you've got Bravo selected, you can see what's going on anyway. Bravo can bring up on the monitor for Vibers to see that the Orions are, at the moment, wavering, but one of them appears to have attached a device to the engineering console, and even though he's swaying, he's banging on the console trying to get it to work. So for this round, the Orions just kind of start shuffling drunkenly as one of them, which appears to be more in charge than the rest, goes up and tries to berate the one who's trying to access the engineering console. It seems to be berating him for taking too long, but the one who's trying to access the computer then complains that there's some kind of security lockout going on that he can't get past, and he can't gain access to the environmental control as a result. So this one, the one that seems to be in charge, orders a retreat. So a second quick action just leaves that there. So that's one quick action. One quick action. They notice Andrews over there behind a force field and take another quick action to retreat this far. So their attempt at accessing engineering thwarted. They appear to be trying to retreat. So, as the next round starts, who's going first out of you lot?
Vipers will go first. He'll restore air to. They're currently acting odd because they're hyperventilating.
Yeah, so it'll take them. Even if
restoring
oxygen comes back, they'll still be drunk from it. So yes.
Right. I'll restore air to that compartment.
Okay, and Claude should probably go next so that he can bring the respirator to Andrews, even though it is being atmosphere is being vented back, unless Andrews just wants to go next.
It's only one round, and they're attacking the ship. So yeah, she's probably not going to wait this time.
Not going to wait?
Yeah.
All right. What? And then Claude will go after?
Sounds fine to me.
Then Privateer, then Bravo, then Privateers. Okay, so round 3. Vipers goes first. So Vipers, you can restore the function by undoing what you did, which is easy enough. So I won't require a roll from you there. That's a quick action, so you activate the main system. You restore the life support, and then you lift the lockdown, which lifts the large door. So that's pretty much both.
Full action.
That was pretty much both of Vipers' quick.
Would you open the door?
Yep.
Okay.
As in, not there anymore, and I have a phaser.
So, this guy looks back, sees the force field, and Andrews isn't too keen to stick around, and so runs to the door and gets in a turbo lift. Which brings us to Andrews.
Still locked down, isn't it?
They gained access to here somehow, so...
God damn it, Nova.
Andrews' turn. Well, one of your actions is going to be... one quick action is going to be ordering the computer to lower the force field. Now, you can buy an extra quick action like moving with 1 momentum.
Yeah, I probably would if people are happy with that.
I kind of cost you around, so yeah.
It's alright, doesn't matter.
Bzz, as the force field snaps off. Excuse me.
Where did they go, sorry?
They went this way. You saw them round the corner. So you're still in the same zone, but you needed to move after ordering the force fields to go off, so you're going to have to have spent some momentum, which I've just done now, to do that second quick action. Now you've got a slow action remaining, which can be... because I'm assuming you came in with weapon drawn.
Yeah. Probably in the Type 2 on me, though, rather than the Type 3 for a change.
Yar.
Control security with battlefield tactics as foci.
Sure, sure. Oh no!
Oh dear.
Right.
No, I want that one. There we go. No.
So you want to use the Starfleet Medal of Honor to hang on, which one?
Which one is? I can't remember which one it is.
Legion of Honor is the one that ignores this
Legion of Honor. Yeah,
complication.
Legion of Honor. Yeah.
So let's forget Medal of Honor. So, yes, a warning shot just misses him, I'm afraid. Basically letting them know that that might have been his head. Honest Gov. In Andrews' haste to get there, she snaps off a quick shot, but doesn't get quite the accuracy she wanted. Next up is one of the other Orions, as he uses 1 quick action to get in the tub into the shaft, which brings up Claude. I mean, Claude's all the way back there. He'll need one quick action to get from that one to that one, but
Probably so you'd have to use both of his to get. Yeah, he uses all of his actions to get to the back to meet up with Andrews.
more than likely.
You just see him coming down the corridor, just sort of like rolling his arms.
Bum,
you know,
bum,
he's
bum,
getting rid
bum,
of-
bum,
yeah.
bum. These duck into a turbo lift. There's Bravo's turn. What would Bravo like to do? Any ideas, folks? Open to the floor. Anybody wants to venture an idea?
Can he attempt to lock the turbo lift down?
He could. What do other people think? Good idea? Try something different?
Yeah, try and pin them in place.
Who hasn't rolled in a bit? Who would like to roll as Bravo? Let's have... I don't know, Sean. Trying to lock down the turbo lift. Okie dokie. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, you gave him the focus of dark matter safety systems. I forgot about that. I wonder why. He's got no foci to really do this with. So it's going to be a control and... this is going to be control and security, I think, because he's initiating a lockdown.
We could just turn the power off then.
Either way, it's still a control and security type jobby.
Do we think he might channel security, Bravo?
That might be a wise idea. Yeah, we're like, bro, I just switched the turbo lift on.
Ooh, that's a good point. For that very good idea, I will lower the difficulty down by 1 to make it 1, rather than 2. Because he does have instantaneous thought access to his brother's knowledge. So yeah, good point. Well made. I'll let you have that one.
There's just one of them on the line going, this brother is unconscious, please hang up and try again.
One success. Okay, locked down the turbo lift. Nice, nicely done. Does Bravo want to remain there at the engineering console?
I think he'd move to assist, seeing as he saw how many there were.
So he can get to here, unless you want to spend an extra momentum to get him to the same place as Andrews and Claude.
Nah.
Okay, so
Survivors might tell him off.
the furthest he can get is, like, you know, in this area here. Anyway, you want him to land,
I've
so...
got bigger problems to worry about.
Yeah. You go be a hero. I'll go be an engineer. Definitely channeling his brother. Okay, so Orion Privateer. They've locked down. Feeling a bit drunk still. They've locked down the system. Dum da dum da dum. Pulls out a gadget from his belt. Slaps it on the panel of the turbo lift. Now has to use it at a distinct disadvantage. So it's gonna be security. He doesn't have any focuses, and it's harder because he's a bit drunk. So this is gonna be... oh, interesting. He locks on this device, presses a button, and it apparently blinks green. He puts a thumbs up to the one remaining Orion Privateer, who sees what's behind him and then makes a mad dash as he goes through the door, and the turbo lift doors close. Shunk! Ending that combat for the time being. And what basically follows from that point is Andrews and Claude get up to the turbo lift and can, I imagine they can say, you know, computer stop turbo lift 10 and lock it down. At which point the main computer will report unable to lock down turbo lift. Commands are being overridden.
Right. Right, open the turbo lift doors. Oh, let's go.
Yeah. So, in order to pursue.
Which is the film that's got Will Ferrell, The Rock, and
the other guys.
Yeah, the other guys. It's just like aim for the bushes. They just jump off like a 4-story roof. That's exactly what Claude and Andrews just do. Just jump into the turbo lift.
Yeehaw! Right, give me a second whilst I deal with. Now I'm going to move on to somebody else. Now, Bravo and Natik were sent off to deal with the guys trying to break into the head towards the transporter room. So back at the bridge, we get the bridge ambience, and let's change this to just regular intruders music. Intruder window. That was bad. I'm sorry about that one. So with the bridge crew trying to keep abreast of what's going on, both Keshin on comms and Natala on internal sensors get the skinny on what's going on in engineering, so they're able to report that. The crew who attacked engineering appear to be overriding the turbo lift and are taking it to going down to deck 18, which is weird, but they're getting a report from deck 15, transporter room 1, that Bravo and Natik have currently got the Orions attacking the transporter room pinned. So at the moment, the Orions and Bravo and Natik are just exchanging fire. I'm gonna take us now to the primary computer core.
This is where we just need Natik and Natik to just run in, Natik attack, and just insta kill every single one of them. Just like, oh no, not again.
They just use their tag team move. It's fine.
Yeah.
What was their tag team move again? I forget. It was the Natik attack and the Bravo bomb all at once, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You have to come up with a name for the tag team and the maneuver. The Navis nap time?
Bravo
No,
technic.
that was awful. What was that, sorry?
Bravo technic. No. You see what I'm trying
Better than mine.
for?
Yeah, you're clasping at
The
straws.
Betazoid Brawl.
The Betazoid Brawl.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's better.
Only
That'd be-
works when there's 2 Bravos in the room.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a Bravo and a Natik. Well, chat, if you're feeling creative and, you know, silly, maybe throw us a bone.
What are you talking about, silly? It's a deadly serious conversation.
It's deadly serious. Alright, so.
Like the Navis nullifier.
Ooh, even better! That was good, we're keeping that one. Alright then. So basically Bravo and Natik are holding them off for the moment, so that they've got that one group contained. Meanwhile, sneaking around through the ship using the cat run, emerge near the primary computer core, Fazanan and Nova. So I'm going to allow you guys, I don't know who's got the best, let's say control and security. That looks like it might be Fazanan, but then Nova has got infiltration as a focus. So it's going to be control and security for both of you to see if you can sneak up on these guys unawares.
I think we'll follow Nova's lead because we went through the cat runs anyway.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Val still thinks he's on deck 1.
Don't leave
So-
me behind, I don't know where I am.
We went past the docking. We went past the torpedo tubes. I've got no idea how we got there.
We went up, then we went down again, and then we went up again,
You went up,
and then
yeah,
round.
Went up from deck,
Somehow,
went up from
from
deck
the
1 as well.
Somehow from the bridge we ended up in the battle module. I didn't even know those were connected.
There's not supposed to be a battle module, that's why you got really lost.
Yeah,
No, it's the bit where all the torpedoes are fired from the back of the ship at the top.
What, you mean the storage bay?
Sure, why not?
And
Sure,
personal
why not?
quarters, thank you very much.
Right, so if I can get...
Hold.
Yeah, if Caval wants to give a... let's give a control and security task from both, with Caval helping and Nova leading.
So we're going to try and activate his World Grand Kite Order of Tactics to use the
Ooh.
cat runs and infiltration to create an advantage and try and get the jump on.
Nice! I like. Do it. Do it.
Vel will be using the Legion of Honor just in case.
Alrighty, Kane. Just as well. So, let's see. Once permission, you can...
I imagine that's only going to be if this is successful, but I've spent the 2 minutes.
Once permission before attempting a task and applying a focus, the character may choose to double the focus range. 2 successes on any die that scrolls twice the distance. So yeah. So the 6 definitely gets it, but there's a complication.
Legion of Honor.
Is there going to be? I didn't think so. What complication?
What complication?
Alright, let's see. You only scored 1 success.
2 successes.
2 successes, pardon me, which is what was needed to create an advantage. Okay. So, rather than coming out of this specific door, hello, cat's outside. What'd you get out there?
I think Nova would lead him into a pearl vent so that we can drop down from above.
So, you emerge in this corridor area and you can definitely hear voices. There's a gang of around 5 of them that you can see as you peer around the corner. They seem very intent on the door that leads into the primary computer core. One of them is shouting, this guy is shouting at another guy who has attached some kind of device to the access panel to gain access to the door. Similar to what happened in engineering. He's basically shouting at the younger Orion, going, "Come on, we need to get this door open! I can't do it. There's some kind of lock in place. It's non-standard." At which point the lieutenant, for lack of a better term, says, "What do you mean it's non-standard? This is a Federation ship. Vess knows Federation ships. They all have the same weaknesses. They follow protocol. They're so damned predictable. Why isn't this working? Who are these people?"
Welcome to the Navis. I take it you're new here.
What a shout! Typical. We choose the only Federation ship run by weirdos.
By changelings.
Well, so, yes, basically Caval and Nova have gone completely unnoticed while these guys are very, very much focused on the fact that they can't get through the door with their little hijacking device, whatever that is. They also mentioned a name that you don't recognize, so... from being as close as you guys are now, and with a little bit of time to actually notice this, these guys... Excuse me a second. Pardon me. These guys all possess a marking, almost like a tattoo, that starts from their forehead above their right eye and goes past their eye down their right cheek. It's kind of like a downward-facing dagger point. You have seen that design once before. And that was back at... let me think. Yes. Adrift.
These are the people that we went into the underground with.
Yes, you were basically competing with them to get those power readings. Yule Minor, when you were on Yule Minor, you were competing with a gang of Orions to get to the bottom of a ruined building to find these power sources. And the lady in charge, as well as her 2 sons and her cohorts, had that kind of symbol drawn on their faces. So it seems they're from the same kind of group, or gang, or cohort, or whatever it is these Orions do. So, you've got the drop on them. What would you like to do?
Well, Cavell is gonna use his Ushan Tor, but
Naturally.
don't know if Nova's got any special plans.
Nova was just gonna get in there. Go for
Nope.
her usual brawling tactics, so she's probably just gonna follow you in.
Hurricane Rana, here we come.
Yep.
So yeah, I always kind of pictured Nova's fighting style as very lucha libre-esque, as kind of like very much like Black Widow's in the films style of over-the-top athletic kind of fighting style.
I mean, I think in this case, because like nobody knows she's there, it'd probably be like a leaping RKO out of nowhere. Try and drop one.
RKO out of nowhere. Because an RKO can happen at any time. Those of you who don't know what we're talking about, by the way, I suggest you go look up Randy Orton and the RKO. A similar kind of thing was Diamond Dallas Page and the Diamond Cutter.
Stone Cold Stunner had a
There was a distinct difference between the Stone Cold Stunner and the RKO. The RKO was more similar to yeah, but
I meant more of the pulling it out of nowhere aspect, but fair enough.
yeah.
No, Randy Orton was.
Yes, they ran that more. So.
Yeah, the amount of times Randy Orton just randomly appeared and RKO'd people.
Yeah.
Just because they were generally bereft of ideas for the.
I'm just saying, if Nova
honest.
can adapt her empathic powers as an attack, then she can literally use the most devastating finisher of all time. I just posted
The finger poke of doom.
the finger poke of doom.
Oh right.
So, who wants to go first? Cavall or Nova?
I think maybe Cavell can go first, then Nova can capitalize on the chaos.
Nice. Feel free.
I love how she called him a distraction. The sacrificial lamb has lunged.
So that's steering.
So respect to give him rank.
So you basically it's like in Pathfinder and 5th edition, you get a surprise round where you get a free bunch of actions. So
I am going to give you a point of threat for an additional die. Then my Ushan talent will allow me to reroll my pool.
all right then. Threat gained. Carry right on.
I definitely want to reroll some of those.
Sure. The
That's
19 and the
fine.
17 would probably be prime candidates.
Yeah. Reroll. I don't know if it allows me to reroll all. Or some of them. I seem to select
Yeah.
individuals.
You can't select the individual ones, but I'll just take that the 10 was the one you don't want to reroll. So just when it says reroll results, just roll 2 dice, or 1 dice if you just want to reroll the 19. There we are. So that was much better. So that's now 3 successes in all. So if I can just change the ambience, general room ambience, because you're down here in deck 6. So yeah, if you want to move him up to where you wanted, you want to take out the lieutenant. Okay, cool beans. That was 3 successes overall, which means you got 1 over what you needed, so you can add an extra dice of damage to the Ushan Tor.
Oh, Control or Alt? Nope, wrong one. Okay, I'm going to add a d6 there.
That's fine. 1 effect. What is the Ushan Tor's? Okay, so I got nothing, but it's vicious. There we go. So you got 1 effect, which means you got 8 in total. Nice. Doesn't appear to be wearing any armor whatsoever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. One almighty smack with Yushan Tor. Very good. So Caval goes barreling in. What does Miss Nova want to do? Same target or different target?
I think you should go for a different target.
Okay then. So quick action, fast action to move, slow action to fisticuffs. And because it's surprise, he doesn't get to try and fisticuffs back. So it's basically difficulty 1.
Of course, acrobatic rolling. Standard.
Yep. Not bad indeed, not bad at all. 2 successes, so 1 over what you needed, so you can add 1 extra dice to an armed strike. So basically, hit the dice for dealing damage and then roll an extra 1 afterwards. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And nothing. Okay. So deal 3, but can also deal knockdown, if I remember. An armed strike is non-lethal, but does knockdown. You're doing it non-lethally anyway, so it does a knockdown. So he's knocked on his butt. And takes 2. So that guy is flattened as he's basically RKO'd out of nowhere. And he lands on the floor. So that was the surprise round. Now we begin things in earnest. So Cabal, I'm taking it, is going first again, so let's do this properly.
Yes. I shall use a Starcross.
Ah. So double your discipline score. Cool. Oh. How many was that?
Starcross.
Double your focus range, and you definitely did that. So that's damn. All right then.
That's
So
an 8, isn't it?
actually, this is fisticuffs, so this guy gets to do it back this time. He's not quite so. He does have the focus. So he. Ooh. Well, he fails. So you get over by 2. So you can add 2 extra damage to your Ushantor. That's a lot of knockdowns.
Ouch.
With 2 extra on top. Dude is down and out. He is out and out and out. Even though it says dead, he's not dead. He's actually defeated, so that the initiative will go past him. So
He thought he could outfox the Navis crew. He was wrong.
dead wrong. Feline intervention, excuse me. Okay, there we go. Right, so next up is one of the Orions, and whoa, who are these guys? Where did they come from?
They did ask, who are these guys? Our guys are just giving them an answer.
There's John Cena that they just couldn't see them.
This is going to be, this guy whips out a dagger in a very familiar style of Orion dagger, and is going to do hand-to-hand combat with Nova, which means Nova gets to roll daring and security too, and see if she does any better. One success each, which means it's a no-score draw, so they battle to a standstill. Hang on a second. Sam?
Haven't we got an advantage?
Sorry, hang on a second. He's eating the vegetable, the animal fat. Sorry, my my cat's trying to get at things he shouldn't. He's got IBS as well, so anything he shouldn't be eating will just make it worse for him later on. You had an advantage, yes you did, so I will allow you to get one over in that regard, so regular unarmed combat damage, please. So that's not bad, that's 6 successes, 1 effect, that's another knockdown. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... And he's punted onto his back. That one was definitely a flying head scissors. Speaking of flying head scissors, it's now Nova's turn again. 2 guys on the floor.
I don't think she's really a floor target kind of person, so...
This guy is the one who was trying to use some kind of device on the door mechanism to gain access to the central computer, primary computer core, so...
I think just charging, bump him into the wall. So
make the wall do the damage. Nice. Again, this is still fisticuffs, so it's daring and security, so bit of the same dance. Oh wow! I thought you rolled 4 dice there for a second. Again, due to your advantage, roll your unarmed combat. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with knockdown. God, Orions are just going flying in every direction.
It's like watching a game of Skittles.
These guys are basically being hurled in 5 different directions. 5 different directions, which, considering there's only 3 of them, is incredible. This guy basically gets hurled, knocked into the wall, and then hurled over Nova's shoulder. Speaking of, one of the guys on the floor now has to use a quick action to get up. Ooh. Having seen what just happened at this oddly regularly rather than regulation dressed Starfleet officer just came in. One of them chopped his leader to bits. The other one is just throwing guys around like they were ragdolls. What would I do in this situation?
Nugget?
Declare the Royal Rumble open.
Indeed.
It's 2 top right only rules.
It is gonna have to be another. This time he's wielding a dagger, so it's still hand-to-hand combat. Control and security? I didn't mean to do that. It's daring and security, but no successes anyway. Nova, retaliatory. Two successes. Well, there you go. Regular damage and extra 2. His body's flying all over the place.
It's a real
So that's
slobber knocker.
1, 2, 3.
He's going back down again.
Yep, you knock him down, and he gets up again, and you knock him right back on down again. Who needs the double sledgehammer fist? This one, however, has got an advantage of range, so backs up, draws a pistol. Now, this is an interesting target environment. Go for the lady who's flinging his fellow Orion dudes around like nothing else, or go for the guy with the edged weapon. No offense, Jan, but at the moment, Sean's throwing guys around like nothing else, so this is going to be control and security. Difficulty 2.
Who's the distraction now?
2 successes. Which, yeah. which is a hit. Disruptor pistol time. Doing 2 successes, 1 effect is 3. Nova loses 3 stress. 1, 2, 3. Unless you want to whip out one of your abilities.
No, she'll take that, but just point at him like he's next, calling him out.
No, you say, good shot, but you forgot one thing. I'm not left-handed.
I watched that movie this weekend.
Nice! And if there are those of you out there who don't know what we're talking about, shame on you, go and watch it.
Do it.
Everyone should watch The Princess Bride at least once. And if you decide you don't like it, then fine, but seriously, who doesn't love The Princess Bride?
As a modern reference, it's also referenced in Ted Lasso.
Ah.
Also a good series.
Right, let's see. This guy, the one that was trying to open the door, he was thrown violently into the wall and then slid down it. What would You know what? These guys are stupid. They still reckon they got advantage of numbers. He gets up, he draws a dagger and goes in for Caval. Daring and security. Knife fight.
See, your dagger is as big as mine.
Yeah, Caval gets the impression of this guy's got this really big, almost like Bowie knife kind of thing. This serrated jobbing is like really compensating much. And in retaliation, 3 successes. So 1 over what was needed, so 1 extra damage dice.
Caval just sort of like blocks it and just leans in and goes, "You're done, goofed."
You know these coming
Wow.
pairs, right?
Whoa! Whoa! Excess success. The guy is down and bleeding, down and dead. I mean, as usual, it's a case of assume non-lethal, but damn.
Rick Caval, to avoid getting sued, shouts, "You all saw it. They had a knife."
Pretty much.
I'll just go for like Achilles tendons and stuff like that.
Oh.
Not lethal,
Just hurts. Right. Blimey day. Which means we come to the official round 2. Caval leads. So, 2 guys with knives who are getting thrown around like they weighed nothing, and 1 guy with a pistol. What would Caval like to do?
Well, I think Nova's already sort of singled out the pistol guy, so I don't want to rain on Nova's parade.
Okie dokie.
So I think I'm just gonna go attack one of these just to make sure Nova's back is clear.
The difficulty will be reduced by 1 from whatever this guy rolls because he has been knocked prone. Knocked down, so it's as usual, daring and security. An exchange of daring and security, but whatever I roll, no successes, so you're guaranteed successes here. The guy tries to fight coming up, but these guys are such amateurs, it's not even funny. So yeah, roll the Ushantor if you're using it, and add an extra 2.
Was there a way to add to it? Just a name and...
There used to be. It used to ask you how many dice you wanted to roll, but I can't get it to do that anymore. I don't know why. I don't know if there was an update, or if there's a setting that I need to check. It might be that, and if that's the case, then yeah, sorry, I need to track that down and do it. But good grief, with the damage and the 6, 7, 8, and the 4 effects, that's another one that bites the dust. Not necessarily dead, but definitely defeated. Yowza. Caval walked up, knocked him down. Tendons again. Guy was focused on Nova, didn't see Cavall coming, and paid for it. Cavall moved, Cavall attacked, so that's all you can do. This guy is now seeing the tide definitely turning against them. Using a quick to get up. I'm spending a threat for another quick to get to the door. That's all he's doing. Nova! You'd singled the guy out.
Yeah, singled him out, so I'm going to go through with that threat and drop kick this guy into the wall.
So what you're against is... 1. All of 1. Two successes, so unarmed damage plus 1. Extra. Unless you want to use the dagger or something. You seem to be doing very well. Hurling guys around the room. Oh, that's an extra 1. It's basically getting thrown around the room. Alrighty, which leaves this guy who was just thrown around the room as he scampers backwards very quickly. And, yeah. One of them is trying to dig out a device off of his belt, but he doesn't have enough time to fully do it, so that leaves Cavall. 2 guys left in a turbo lift who are trying to get away.
And the bell's not rung yet.
The bell's not rung yet. They don't have the actions to get away yet, so, yep. Cavall, you still got this. You still got your turn to be able to get in there and stop them getting away somehow, or go in the turbo lift with them and... They'll just be this turbo lift shaking with impact as it goes down the levels.
Hell in a cell.
No, it's a turbo lift match, so it's the equivalent of a casket match.
Oh, best bit with the turbo lift is they get in the turbo lift. It goes up. It goes round. It stops at it stops. The doors open, and you're back where you started.
Just as the doors start to shut, Cavall walks in with a knife and looks at them and goes, "Ah, 2 to go down, I see."
What I want to do is I would just like to run and sort of do a diving tackle and see if I can take them down.
Alrighty. That sounds like very much a daring and security jobby, but you're trying to do 2 of them, so it's going to be whatever I roll and an extra 1. I don't roll much 1, so you need 2 to tackle both of them to the floor. You can do it. It's Cavall Thazanak.
You believe?
What haven't I used? I used the Starfleet Medal of Honor.
Wields a medal just to go in.
Medal of Honor gives me 2 momentum.
Okay. Once per mission, the character may gain 2 bonus momentum on a successful task. Well, yeah, cool. If you do gain any bonus momentum, then it'll count towards being able to put it back into the...
I'll give you 1 threat to allow the reroll as well.
Okay.
Ooh,
okay.
He's going to get rerolled.
2 successes though, so that was what you needed. You gain a 3rd, which means that yes, you can apply your unarmed damage to the tackle and add an extra 1 to see how well you do at tackling them both to the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3. So you knock them both down and out. Cavall basically does a double tackle and drives them both into the wall with such force that they smack their heads and they just go squeaking down the back of the turbo lift, unconscious. which allows Nova the time to notice that they left the little device they were using attached to the panel of the primary computer core.
New toy.
So I am going to allow you an insight and engineering check, difficulty 1, to get a handle on what it might be. But at this point, it seems fairly obvious. But inner workings? I don't know, actually.
I suppose tinkering and technology.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Yes.
Monkey with it.
Okay. Brill, excellent. So, this seems to be... It's slightly too well made to be something that somebody has cobbled together. By the looks of it, it's a device that somebody has made with the sole intention of overriding security locks of some sort, and allowing whoever's using the device to overcome security locks. But the thing that's really interesting about it is that this has been keyed specifically to Starfleet systems. So this little device seems to have a specific hacking algorithm built into it that is designed solely to hack into doors and other access points for Starfleet ships.
And over to operations, please zoom in on code being used at main computer door, isolate down, lockdown, prevent all access throughout the ship.
Now, now we go. There's still a lot of stuff going on at this point. So, everything that's just happened, everything that happened in engineering, the shootout that's going on outside the transporter room, and this rumble that just happened in outside of the primary computer core, where these guys were just basically taken out and taken down, hurled about, slashed, knocked around. This all happened within the space of the same kind of span of time, and yes, indeed, boomed. Meanwhile, sickbay. You've been getting a couple of broadcasts here and there over the communication, the intership communication, hearing a bit of what's been going on. So, those of you who are currently in sickbay, those who aren't already themselves still languishing on a bio bed, trying to get their injuries seen to, you have been listening to what's going on, and you know, you've got intruders who are attacking various different parts of the ship. Engineering, transporters, primary computer core, it's all getting very hectic. And there's a lockdown, and that's when, Bertram, you hear a frantic knocking at the door of, or not a knocking so much as someone battering at the door to sickbay.
Or is it just sound like someone trying to break through the door?
It sounds like somebody, yeah, trying to break in.
Can I join our computer? Can you identify who's currently battering the doors of sickbay from the outside?
Internal sensors read. Internal sensors read 10 unknown individuals outside the main door to sickbay.
So everyone who's awake, we might be about to get intruders. Get ready to protect the patients.
Edward's hits communicator. Edward's Tillitude.
Okay, hang on. A little busy right now, Ensign. Can this wait?
Red Bay is currently under siege. We're slightly outgunned.
Yeah, funny thing about that, it's happening up here in the transporter room too.
In that case, you might need it more than me. Are you able to try and lock onto my stun gun and beam it to yourself to use against them? That'll be the best way to knock them down quickly.
That involves me opening the door to the transporter room, right?
They're on the other side. They're actually in the transporter room. Okay.
They're on the other side of the door. I can hear phaser fire, so I think some of our lot are on the other side, but quite frankly...
It's worth a try, thank you, sir. Edward's out.
He called me sir.
In that case, well, my idea of getting some extra guns is not working. Best I can do is try and hold the door.
No, it's not hold the door.
No, I'm not going to say it like that.
Hold on.
It's then that yeah, there's a flash of what do they call it? It's not an incendiary. It's usually when you see something like being. You can use a certain type of cutter to cut through things very easily. I forget what the name of it is called.
Jaws of Life.
It's one of those like plasma cutter type things. You use it these days. Like an oxyacetylene torch or something like that, you know. There's one I'm trying to think of, but I can't remember the terminology for it. So anyway, Orion start filing in and pointing their weapons. Sorry.
Hit the panel to close the door.
Alrighty.
Basically, try and lock it and like try to lock it as best I can and just hit the communicator. Edwards to security. Anyone else listening? Orion's attacking Med Bay. Outgunned badly. I'll hold them best I can. Over.
Matt,
There's
is
this wide
there
band.
any sort of conduit we can use as a kind of like, you know, an environmental thing against them? Like, say, a plasma power relay or something?
There are always relays somewhere in the area, as Bertram would rightly tell you.
Yep. Just wondered if we can sort of like, as they basically we have a choke point. Once they burst through, if there's any way to actually set it up to basically explode as they come in, trying to whittle them down and disorientate them and slow them down. So if they get in, basically half the people in here are unable to defend themselves, and then we could have a hostage situation. So I'm trying to actually figure out a way to sabotage that.
So you want to try and electrify anybody who tries to open the door?
Kind of, yeah.
All right then. Edwards is probably a really good one to help you with that.
Yep.
Ooh, this is definitely going to be daring in engineering, and this is where Bertram's plasma power systems focus becomes very handy. As for Edwards, nothing much that assists here, but daring in engineering, those are you got pretty good scores in those. So let's see what happens.
I've got
one success. And Edwards assisting.
I'd like to use a momentum.
Of course. Everyone alright with that?
Yep, I'm good to do that.
Worst case scenario, if we want some more, I can use my Spirit of Discovery or Untapped Potential to get to burn determination for it, but I'll give it a go with this.
Nice! I will take that as assisting, so I will take 3, which means...
Actually, I keep forgetting
2.
that.
That's fine, that's fine. I'll take the 3, which means you got 2 successes.
No, untapped potential. No,
right.
I have to roll a dice to see if either you get threat or I get a thing back. I think it's a motivation back.
So it's a... the momentum back. So it's a d6, so please roll a really day.
Yeah. Receives bonus momentum equal to the roll of the challenge dice. If I get an effect, you get threat.
No effect. So I don't get threat.
So bonus equal to the roll of the challenge dice. So is that 2 momentum back?
So you got 2 successes overall, and you earn an extra 2. So definitely
Successes.
2 momentum back.
Or was that just Jonathan specifically?
Let's have a read of that. You may spend 1 determination to add 3. No, you didn't do that, did you? Untapped potential.
Yes.
Whenever the character succeeds at a task for which they bought 1 or more dice with momentum or threat, they may roll a challenge dice. I can't read the rest, it's too much text, so let's scroll down. The character receives bonus momentum equal to the roll of the challenge dice. And adds 1 if it's an effect. Yeah, so you gained 2 extra momentum on top of that. So
Yeah. The flip side is I can't go beyond a certain attribute level or rank.
yes. However, that's for later. For right now, you succeeded at your task. You've pulled out some of the plasma conduit wiring and have now attached it to the door mechanism. Anybody trying to get into the door will get fried with a jolt of plasma. So, let's see what happens. Yeah, so one of them comes up to the door and then attaches a device, which then means he makes contact with the door, which means fried. Dzzt. That guy drops down.
Barbecue on the other side.
You hear a commotion on the other side of the door. They've electrified the door! Oh really, genius, is that what they did? Get that door open! So you bought yourself some time, it seems.
Okay. Is Ryalix stable enough to move?
I'm going to go with yes, because you've had enough time to do so.
Okay. I'm going to ask Bravo if he could move into the bio bed further away from the door in case they come bursting in his phaser fire.
Alright. Now.
Because he's right lying on the bed right by the door.
Yeah, so that's fine. He will go to the bio bed furthest away. Bravo will take him. Okay, so we've got a situation brewing here. Now,
I know the bio beds have quarantine force fields, but I'm going to assume those probably aren't reliable against phaser fire.
They were not configured for such, no.
Yep.
Wait, would there be a quarantine protocol for this whole section? As in an actual lockdown kind of thing that could be activated in case of
in case of disease escape? Yes,
Yeah,
technically.
probably lock them in with you.
Yes, but it might stop them from getting through the door. That's the main thinking right behind that. It would also trap them in different sections. So I'm thinking for literally not just this room, the whole department.
Okay.
I'm grasping at straw. That's the only thing I can think of to either break them up and slow them down. It basically looked at Bertram like, well, actually no. Yeah, it would be Bertram would be the ultimate on that. Would he know?
Bertram does know about quarantine protocols, yes.
Yeah.
He basically refers
Quarantine
to that
protocol.
idea.
The unless I'm told otherwise, quarantine protocols would normally be designed to stop things like airborne and similar pathogens rather than people.
However, it's also meant to stop people being able to move about the ship, but it's more. So it would make sense to me that there would be a means of locking down movement about the ship as a result.
Obviously, those who are effective might not necessarily have the cognitive ability to stay in one place.
Yeah.
Now, while this is going on, I'm going to take us briefly to Nova. Nova, where she's currently stood. Let me see. Nova can hear indistinct voices that sound very far away. But as Nova listens, the voice becomes a little bit more distinct. And Nova recognizes the voice of her old phaser instructor from back when she served on her first ship. And you hear his voice say, "Get out of that duct, Ensign, you're late for mandatory phaser practice," coming from somewhere around the corner.
Go wandering and see. Just follow the voice.
Nova follows the voice, and only has to follow it for a small amount of time. When she starts moving in that direction and only heads down this corridor a little ways, there's a shimmer of a shape. A bulbous kind of shape hovering in the air, and there's the feeling of multiple sets of eyes looking at her with a sense of curiosity and intrigue before the apparition kind of vanishes.
I'll try and create a connection to it, reaching out with my empathy and locking onto the curiosity.
The sense... I won't require a check for this because you already did this before and paid for it. So it definitely feels like the same intelligence that Nova made contact with before, just before the huge calamity with the gravitational waves and the anomaly. The overarching curiosity is reaching out to not just Nova herself, but seems to be regarding other members of the crew as well. There's very much a... I'm going to say detached curiosity because it's very clinical. That's the most that Nova gets as we shift our scene to Edwards.
Okay.
In sickbay, as Edwards is scurrying about trying to think of what to do and is then trying to brainstorm the idea about the quarantine protocol. Out the corner of his eye, moving towards the biobeds, strangely, Edwards catches the sight of two kind of ghostly apparitions, but they're in the shape of humans. And as he watches them walk, nobody else seems to be noticing these apparitions except Edwards himself. And as he focuses on them, he can see that they're two figures who are walking towards him, and as they come closer to him, they start to gain more definition. And Edwards realizes it's his parents. Edward's father walks up to him and says, "Son, I know you've been trying to hide some of the artifacts from the recent find. But if we don't get all of the artifacts into the hauler, we're not going to get paid as much. So, come along. We'll have to... If you can just give us all of the pieces that you hid, then we can have you help us scan them and value them so that we can make sure that we're paid the right amount."
He's gonna just quickly look around, like, no, as soon as like no one else is paying attention to this. It's like, "Doctor, could you quickly just scan my vitals? I might be hallucinating again."
Pull out the medical tricorder, and as I start doing that, I ask the computer to scan sick bay for any unusual energy or anything in the air that might cause hallucinations.
Okay. Interestingly enough, as Bertram goes for his tricorder, which should be in the holster at his hip, the holster's empty. The medical tricorder's on the biobed.
Similar to what happened. He saw something move like that when he was down on the planet not long ago, didn't he?
With the pad, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll grab the tricorder to do the scan. Say it's things are happening like they did on the planet. Professionality goes out, and he still does the scans and gets the computer to do its own.
Okay. Edwards is reading a small amount of activity in the memory centers of his brain, as if he's remembering something.
Okay.
But there's no other real sign of anything else.
Okay. I'll tell him something stimulating the memory centers of your brain. So what you might be getting is old memories that suddenly come into the surface.
Yep.
And with that, we move to engineering. Zoink. Vibers. As Vibers is moving around engineering, now that the situation with the Orion seems to have cooled down, Bravo comes wandering back and told Vibers that the fight has moved on, and Plort and Andrews went after them, so he feels confident that they'll find them. Vibers is of course now focusing on trying to get the systems back and working again, and so yeah, go on.
Once we get main power stable, we can get the shields up, and then these guys can't keep getting in.
As he says that and starts, and as Viper says that and starts moving back towards the main console to start rerouting power to test that the repairs that he made stable, that's when one of the engineering officers behind Vibers says, "Which guys, sir?" And turning around, Vibers realizes that the engineering ensign who was behind him before is not there now. It's actually somebody else. In fact, now that Vibers looks around, the engineering room doesn't look right. This isn't the Navis. In fact, as Vibers looks around more, the layout of the engineering section, the individual thrum of the power core, is very familiar. In fact, so familiar that as Vibers looks around, he starts to recognize the people. This is the engineering department of the USS Pharaoh. This was the ship that Vibers' last host was on before the host died.
Yes. At which point, I looked down at my uniform
and realize that, yeah, you're not a dude no more.
Oh, good. For a minute, I thought I'd be that really scrawny, annoying ensign in the corner.
Now, red alert klaxons begin sounding, and a familiar scene starts to play out. There's a containment issue with the warp core, and Captain Horatio Ducasse is ordering that the engineering team evacuate their section as quick as possible before the core ruptures and spills dangerous radiation into the area. And Vibers remembers this as the day that his hosts, well, this is when basically he sacrificed himself, or she sacrificed herself in order to save the others and try and contain the core explosion.
You lot get on the other side of there. I need you to work on secondary power. We'll seal this in a second. Right, juggling 3 consoles at once.
So the engineering team start to run out of the section, and as Vipers looks down at the console, the readings are going red line. The thing is about to go up.
And pulling everything possible and jettison everything I can to try and keep this ship alive.
That's when Vipers... Sorry, I talked over you there.
Yeah, go on.
Vipers turns around as he hears there was his second when... Oh, sorry, rather, the previous Vipers' second when she was in charge of the USS Pharaoh was a Vulcan named Sebek. And it was at this point in Vipers' history that Sebek tried to get Vipers to come as well. And you hear right on cue, hear a voice, "Chief, come on, we've got to get out of here!" Only this time it's not Sebek. It's Bravo. And then, rather than Captain Horatio Ducas's voice over the intercom, you hear Adriana Ducas's voice. "Engineering, please report status. Do we have power back yet?" And that's when Vipers realizes he's back on the Navis again.
Okay. Lots of swearing in Trill.
And now we go back to the primary computer core, where picking himself up after having jobbed a pair of Orion pirates and arranged them in funny poses for when security come and find them, Cavall kind of dusts his hands off, feeling very proud of himself, and notices that Nova has gone walkabout. And
just like on the planet.
As he exits the turbo lift and looks around for Nova, Fazanan hears someone say, "The alien probe appears to be reacting to our scans." And as Cavall turns around to try and find the source of the voice, when he does, rather than finding the area he was in, Cavall finds himself on the bridge of a starship. And not at the helm. Cavall finds himself on the bridge of the USS Travis. This was the ship he was posted on very early on, where he first met Adriana Ducas when she was a second officer, if I recall. And Cavall finds himself on one of the side stations close to Ops. And sure enough, filling the view screen is the same floating alien satellite that caused the accident that lost Cavall his eye. The ensign on helm, who just said the alien probe seems to be reacting to our scans. Cavall can see from his standpoint that the build-up of energy on the alien probe is starting to cascade out over the probe itself. This is the point where the probe detonates. Does Cavall do anything?
He will sort of just flinch and grab for his eye.
Okay, so the alien probe detonates its massive outburst of energy, which then cascades through all of the Travis's ship systems, causing all of the various consoles to overload and explode. And Cavall, grabbing his eye, well, basically gets blown backwards and lands on his back. There's a loud ringing in his ears, just like he experienced that time. And as Cavall pulls his hand away that was protecting his his eye, he realizes that the eye he was protecting is a bionic. Which doesn't make any sense.
Felt bridge.
And as he says that, Caval turns around as he gets up to say Caval to bridge, and he realizes he's getting up off of the floor back where he was, in the corridor with the unconscious and beaten up Orions. Bridge here. Report, Commander.
Captain, I'm experiencing strange memories. Or shall I say, I'm reliving memories.
I am beginning to receive similar reports from around the ship. Have you contained the Orions?
Yes, we probably need a security team to just confine them, or if they can be beamed directly to.
Come back to the bridge, Caval. We'll get security to mop them up. Don't worry about it.
Yes, Captain.
Although, you're at Deck 6. You might be better served if you took Nova and tried to deal with the situation outside of sickbay.
I would if I could find Nova as disappeared.
Oh, good. Meanwhile, Andrews. Now, where did we leave Andrews? Pretty much engineering. About to jump down jumping down a turbo lift shaft. Andrews, where are you? There you are. Andrews opened the door, jumped down the turbo lift shaft, and the turbo lift eventually comes to a stop. It takes a bit of doing, and Claude obviously lands after Andrews, but Andrews gets the hatch covering off of the turbo lift and jumps down to find the Orions, pardon me, have already left, but they haven't quite shut the doors in Andrews' face, so Andrews manages to get her hand through the gap in the door and force it open. And as she does, she steps onto the bridge of the Navis, which is weird. And in his usual place at comms, Ensign Keshen turns around towards Andrews and says, if I can find his voice module a second, while it's loading.
Captain, the Orions are attacking the Klingon supply ship again. They seem to know more than we do about the area.
Sure enough, when Andrews looks at the bridge view screen, rather than what she expected to see, which was basically the anomaly, and maybe the other Klingon ship, the D7 Klingon ship, what she actually sees is a Klingon transport ship, cargo hauler basically. But an Orion raider is coming out of the nebula that the ships seem to be in, coming out of a cloud in the nebula, and is on enacts a strafing run against the cargo hauler, seemingly coming out of nowhere, and the Navis unable to intercept it. And as the Navis turns to intercept, the Orion ship then darts back into the cover of the nebula, and Natala reports that the ship has been lost in the nebula dust cloud, and that the Klingon cargo hauler won't take many more shots like that.
Did he say captain then?
Ensign Keshen said captain.
Okay, so that'll be a check, similarly as a check of the ident to make sure.
Yep, Andrews looks down and sees that she's wearing captain's pips.
so am I... I'm potentially seeing the future rather than everyone else seeing the past. Woo!
Not necessarily.
Yeah, well... Natala, we would assume, would have said something. If it's not...
Now, this is an awkward position for me, because if and when this happens, I don't know what rank other folks are going to end up being, so... So I'm leaving Natala's rank undetermined for the time being.
You can just figure out with Admiral Vipers.
No, Vipers is pulling a Scotty. Maximum rank he forgets his cap.
See. And we got an incoming message from your best friend Stoker.
Bezzy mates, Admiral Stoker. Okay, so there's a Klingon vessel being attacked by an Orion. A
It
Klingon
seems so.
transport ship. Okay.
Yep.
And it was the Orion went into the nebula.
Yes, indeed.
What's the state of the Klingon vessel?
It has its engines incapacitated, and it seems to be leaking plasma from the engine shot. Excuse me.
Okay. Would we assume that the end of the war is over or not? I'd say if they're in the area and it's being said that the Orions are at threat, then yeah, I would order for the Navis to get in between the nebula. Jesus, to get in between the nebula and the Klingon vessel, and to extend shields around it.
All right.
Because if it's a civilian transporter, it suggests potentially a refugee ship or other.
Yes, indeed. All right then. As Andrews does this, she hears a familiar voice. Klingon transport, Commander? There's a blink, and Andrews realizes that she's on the bridge. Claude's there too. Of the actual Navis. All in pieces. With the people that were missing, who went to do with other bits on the ship. Missing and doing with other bits on the ship.
Okay, next question then would be to see how much my internal chronometer from the being plugged into the computer has lost time, because there's a big gap of time that's now just disappeared in my memory.
Your chronometer reads what the ship's chronometer reads, so according to this, you haven't been gone any time at all.
Okay, yeah, so I've lost a significant portion of time, because I don't remember getting off the turbo lift on the lower level, Captain.
Yours is not the only strange occurrence I have heard, Commander. Something very strange is going on. Alright. Now, because of the time, that is where we're going to leave it for tonight. We have struck a terrific mine and lost all power as always. Kobayashi Maru, yes. So, mystery, strangeness abounds. Not only that, but you've got borders that you need to repel, and a very, very definitely serious situation going on in sick bay at the moment.
Yep.
So, yes, the ship is still stricken. The anomaly is still out there. Orions have boarded your ship, and now people are experiencing weird time and space-based weirdness.
Navigans.
What could possibly be going on? Well, I'm afraid we're going to have to wait to answer that question for next week. Assuming, of course, that everybody is around for next week.
Should be, yeah.
Excellent.
Should be.
Nice. Hopefully we will have our science officer with us that time, but in any case, Yes, thank you those of you who tuned in to the stream. Hope you enjoyed this little mystery. And thank you for watching Suitable Substrate. As always. So, yes. Excuse me. We shall continue this mystery next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. And that was our other cross-franchise comment of the night. So, yes, for those of you who will be tuning out of the stream now, look after yourselves, treat each other well, and remember to live long and prosper. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you enjoyed this little mystery and the continuation of it, then please consider giving us a like so that we can continue actual play videos like this to hopefully appear more often on the algorithm. But who knows for sure. So thank you very much everyone who watched, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you guys when we see you next as we close our hailing frequencies.